There's a big difference between being a hustler and being a real entrepreneur, being a real business owner. Anybody can hustle and go make a little bit of money, but what's it really take to be a bona fide, real hardcore entrepreneur and run a real business? So that's where you got to make the shift.
Mic check.
I'm good.
Mic check. Mic check.
You can read about success all day long, but if you don't put in the work, the mindset, execution, and the hustle behind your vision, it just remains a dream.
When everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility.
We uncover what high-level entrepreneurs, business owners do to rise up from hustling daily.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Join me as I share with you actionable tips to help you grow your business, learn skills, and help you level up in your self-development journey.
Your number one spot for business and personal growth is the Online Hustlers Podcast with your host, Esteban Andrade.
Every day I'm hustling.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Online Hustlers Podcast. But I want to really take this new episode that I have with one of our first guests that we ever had of our show here. His name is Nick Perry. To transition from being the Online Hustlers Podcast to being the REIpreneurs new show. So we purchased the domain reipreneurs.com. We're starting out a community in Miami and in Colombia. It's going to be called REIpreneurs. And we want to transition to that new name because it has a little bit more of a hit than the Online Hustlers. And to be honest, we also had a great amount of guests, and we are leveling up the way that we will do the show. It's been maybe almost 60 guests already, and I think for the first season, that'll be good. The Online Hustlers is obviously what started everything and so on. But now we are REIpreneurs. You are an REIpreneur. I'm an REIpreneur. We do entrepreneurship in the REI space, and we're helping people that are listening to this episode to become a better real estate investor, wholesaler, a better overall highly skilled entrepreneur in the real estate space.
Let me tell you something. There's a big difference between being a hustler and being a real entrepreneur, being a real business owner. Anybody can hustle and go make a little bit of money, but what's it really take to be a bona fide, real hardcore entrepreneur and run a real business? So that's where you got to make the shift.
Yeah. So, well, you went from working corporate America at Indeed, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you became a multimillionaire in the real estate space. What were the top few things that you had or you developed while at Indeed to become better at business?
So Indeed it's one of the top inside sales organizations in the United States. It's your typical inside sales, Wolf of Wall Street, 60 calls a day, 120 minutes, big quotas, big money, work hard, play hard environment. And that's really where I got my sales acumen from. That's where I learned the discipline and the framework of what it really takes to be a successful sales professional. I'd been in sales my entire life, but that's where I really thrive. So the skills I learned at Indeed is the same way that I treat my real estate investment company. So it's still 60 calls a day, 120 minutes. We're grinding just like I was at Indeed, but now I'm doing it for my own business.
I would never have thought that Indeed, a corporation that you think, oh, well, this is a job board like being able to find candidates or find jobs, that they would make you have that way. I guess in order for you to create sales teams, you have to follow the same path as they do, right? I don't know if you can tell me a little bit more how they were structured and what you basically plug and played from seeing Indeed and being inside of Indeed, such a huge corporation, to now plug it in your business. So you tell me more about that.
Yeah. So Indeed, they've got over 2,000 sales reps. So they're all reaching out to employers, getting them to spend money on sponsored jobs. So when you have 2,000 salespeople, your organizational structure is critical. So you have 11 sales reps on a team, and those sales reps are overseen by a director. So each team has a director that oversees them. And within my office alone, we had 20 teams, and each of those directors have to report to a senior director. So there's a hierarchy to how these sales organizations are built. Then the senior director is just the senior director of the office in Austin. There's multiple other offices all around the world. So all those senior directors have to report up to the VP of sales. So it's a beautiful structure how they've laid it out. And it's all the individual quotas roll up to the director quotas, roll up to the senior director quotas, up to the vice president's quota, who eventually is, reporting to the CEO of the company. So it's just, broken down from the individual all the way up.
Was it also a commission only, or was it base commission?
Yeah, Indeed was, your typical 9 to 5, where I had salary, base, 401k, benefits, HSA, commissions. I mean, it's for somebody that wants to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah,
it's a 9 to 5er's dream. I was making $250,000 a year.
Yeah,
doing it. I was a senior account executive there. I was
you
one of the top reps.
You even had an intern, I heard.
Yeah, I was one of the top reps in the company for while I was there.
So they gave you an intern that then eventually became your COO currently?
He's the CEO.
CEO.
Correct.
Wow.
He was a COO for 3 years and he was promoted to CEO.
Dude, that's huge. So you were able to get everything that you learned in corporate and even the intern that you got to now plug into your business. But all right, so a lot of people are struggling in the REI space. They're just struggling with the market shifts that they saw ever since like last year started shifting. The marketing models that are happening right now, where a lot of people relied on the traditional outbound, right? SMS, cold calling, direct mail, maybe voicemail drops. And they didn't realize that things were going to go so fast, so hard. A2P 10 DLCs coming in, already came in September 1st, where it's blocking a bunch of people doing text messaging. Obviously, cold calling is always like a gray area to play with. For example, one of my friends got sued $40,000 in his first campaign that he spent money on, and then in the month 2, he got sued another $35,000, and he stopped cold calling, and then he dedicated all his efforts in inbound. So TV, PPC, Facebook, Instagram. I think they're doing YouTube. But like, how can people still thrive? How can people still make millions of dollars in wholesaling in 2023? Because you've been doing that consistently in the last few years.
Yeah, no, great question. So this is the number one question that will make you millions and millions of dollars. So stay tuned. I'm getting ready to tell you guys exactly what you need to do. But for you guys out there that are still doing outbound telecommunications, I'm going to say a prayer for y'all, because not only are you going to be getting sued, they literally have courses out there that teach you how to sue people. There's a website called donotpay.com that if you text somebody, they can literally have AI generate all the demand letters, like put you in lawsuits. And there's people out there doing this. Like, they just sit back and wait for a text message or a phone call. And it's becoming more common knowledge to go sue people that are doing unsolicited text messages and cold calls. Additionally, the carriers are getting way too good. They got 10 DLC now. That's the first wave. It's knocked out, 50, 75%. I don't know what the percentage is, but they're going to do another update. This telecommunications is dying a slow death. And you guys can play the cat and mouse game, but you're going to be a hustler. You're going to end up dipping and dodging from the carriers. And it's not the way to build a sustainable business. Additionally, it's not the most profitable either. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on text message. Same thing with cold call. I used to have 24 cold callers. And I've never found anything that beats the KPIs that I get in terms of return on investment than pay-per-click advertising. So I've been doing pay-per-click advertising since 2014. And in 2019, I shifted my entire business to that. And that's all we do. We don't do any other form of marketing. We're not doing direct mail. We're not doing telecommunications, all inbound PPC. And, we run one of the largest teams in the entire nation and make millions and millions of dollars doing it. So,
yeah. So how big is your team right now?
Right now we have 18 or 19 people on our team. Everybody's in Austin. We have a physical office there. Yeah, it's the same thing. People on the phones. If you walk into my office, it looks like a sales office. So we've got, I think 9 acquisitions, 3 or 4 dispo, 3 transaction coordinators, some other people in the office. So,
all right. So for people to start getting prepared to fully move into inbound, what do they have to know? And what's the best way to start learning Google advertising?
Get some education. So like when I started off, I spent a lot of money trying to figure it out, when I'm a firm believer that I don't care what you're trying to figure out, especially in the business world. If you're looking to acquire a new skill, or say you're starting up a new business, maybe you guys are starting up your real estate investment company right now, the fastest way to the bag to make the most money in the least amount of time with the least amount of headache is to find out who is already doing what you want to do and go pay them, intern for them, whatever you have to do to get them to teach you that skill, because that's what's going to cut your learning curve and keep you from avoiding costly mistakes and having to figure it out on your own. You guys can try to go watch YouTube videos and piecemeal it all together, but get real mentorship. This is your life. This is your business. So find a mentor and pay to play. Yeah.
It's crazy. No one talks about this, but even though it's a channel where you're attracting sellers, it's still going to be, it's still a different channel than cold calling. Yeah. So whatever you're doing for cold calling to, talk with the sellers, offer the sellers, whatever it is that you got to offer, you have to adapt to the new inbound with that, like the model of inbound. So what things have you done in your business when you started in 2019, full inbound, and right now that had to shift? What did you have to shift in the way that you did sales for?
Well, I already figured out PPC at this point.
Yeah.
So it was just a matter of increasing my lead volume on PPC and then removing my outbound marketing. So that was it. Once you have the skill, the good thing about PPC, it's very scalable.
Mm-hmm.
So you can scale up to as many leads as you want, right? It's just how much are you willing to invest into it. So it was a very easy transition.
Okay. And like in terms of the system or the things that you need to prepare for the leads to come in, because usually most of the leads come in at night. People are not prepared to be talking with people or to be responding to people at night, mm-hmm. or in the very early morning, 1, 2 a.m. because they're like looking at searching online, and then they say, hey, they're not picking up the phone. I think this PPC leads are trash. They're asking for retail. I don't know, they're being a little bit unrealistic, or they're telling me that they're seeing other competitors at the same time, other people that also had Google listings. How do you handle all of that?
Well, you asked a lot of questions right there. So speed to lead is absolutely critical. I mean, when you're going to have leads come in 24/7. So having autoresponders go out as soon as a lead comes in, you can easily set that up with Zapier or whatever, your CRM. A lot of the CRMs out there support that, to where a lead comes in and they automatically get a message letting them know that they're going to be taken care of. Hey, this is Esteban. Just got your request for a cash offer. I'll be reaching out to you from this area code tomorrow to get the details and present you your offer. Something like that, just to be like, okay, they got my inquiry. I can go to bed tonight. I don't need to go searching for a bunch of other competitors. So that's one thing. Another thing is, in terms of the people wanting retail, like here's the thing. With PPC, think about the journey that somebody took to get to you. They went on Google, they typed in a keyword like sell my house fast or cash for houses. They went to your website, decided to read through it and submit a form. That person might say that they want retail, but it's the same kind of mentality as the person that takes their microphone or their PlayStation to a pawn shop. They know they're not getting full retail when they fill out those forms. So this is where it becomes a sales problem. Being able to ask the right questions, uncover the right motivations, be able to really get that person to show their cards and let their guard down. So that's really where it comes in. If you're driving leads to a Cash for Houses website, these are not your average home sellers. There's something going on the majority of the time.
So it's most of the time trying to figure out the I want what Zillow says, or I want what the market value says, or I want something. It's usually a surface level.
So I'll throw it back at them. So, yeah, that's great. Why are you calling me? Why, have you reached out to a realtor? Put it right back in there. Oh, well, no, I don't want to go with a realtor. Now, here we go. Okay, you don't want to go with a realtor. Now you're asking questions and you're helping this homeowner figure out what's going to be the best solution for them.
Right. So usually, you have 9 acquisition reps, right? How are you making sure that these reps are always fed with leads, that they're closing a high percentage? And I guess, what you project for every rep to make doing PPC for each one of the reps?
Yeah. So annually, like our top performers will do 1.3 to up to 1.6. Our top guy did 1.6 last year. On the low end, a rep should make at least 750,000. Like if you're making less than 750 grand a year from our organization, you're pretty much cut. So we measure all those KPIs weekly. We know down to the individual what their lead to contract is, what their lead to close is, what's their average deal size. So it's just about knowing your numbers. And then in terms of lead distribution, we round robin all of our leads when they come in. So we know each person's being treated equally and given the same opportunity.
And what type of reps do you look for? Like what type of acquisition? How do you build that sales team, honestly?
Just comes down to I worked at Indeed, so I know how to get unlimited applicants through Indeed. Yep. And we're very good at hiring and screening people. We've just hired so many people at this point. We know what makes a good rep versus a not good rep. And I can tell you guys, where you're going to find the most traction is you need to find the people that are already hungry and self-motivated. So one of the biggest questions we ask people when they come in is, what's your why? If they say, hey, I'm just looking for a job, that's not an answer, right? We want somebody that, I grew up, it was rough growing up. I'm looking to, retire my parents. I'm looking for passive income, something that's bigger than them onto why they're taking the job. We want that person that's just driven, that is willing to continually improve themselves. That mentality is what is going to make them push through when times get hard. You got to have that killer instinct too. So there's a lot of really nice people out there, but nice does not pay the bills.
Right.
So you need people that can lay the hammer down and close a deal. That is extremely important. So I've gone through a lot of really nice people.
Yeah.
People don't quit my organization, they get fired.
Yeah.
And I usually have to fire people because they're just not, they don't have that killer instinct enough.
Right.
So look for that killer instinct. So
let's say, so you're looking more of a challenger type of salesperson, or someone that, can push through the finish line?
Correct. I mean, it can be all different personality types, right? Are good, but I would say that they have to have that internal fire. Like, is this person, would you count on this person to make a 3-point shot for you, to save your life?
Yeah.
That's the kind of people you want to hire.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. I struggle a lot in finding those individuals because it's also hard to determine whether they have those skills or not. I guess you can determine it whether they're a cultural fit first, right? Looking what what moves them, and then their skill sets.
Fearlessness is what you're looking for. So this is a good tip for anybody that's hiring employees. There's a free assessment that you can give them. It's called Hexaco.
Hexaco.
Hexaco. I'd encourage everybody, go take it yourself after you get finished watching this podcast, or while you're watching this podcast, go take it. It'll tell you everything you need to know about a person. It's free. Encourage you as an entrepreneur, listen to this, go take that test.
You give it to them?
Yes. But it tells you all the intangibles. So like a DISC assessment or a predictive index is going to tell you their dominant personality types. Are they a driver? Are they social? etc. The Hexaco is going to tell you all the other things. What's their level of fearlessness? Are they socially bold? Do they have how honest are they? Right? Because you don't want to hire a pathological liar, right? But in sales, you might want somebody that's a little bit bullshit that can swing with the punches, right? So Hexaco is a great test that'll tell you all those intangibles, and fearlessness is probably one of the top ones. And social boldness. You need people that are socially bold, confident. Like this is going to tell you if they've got like some underlying anxiety issues, things that you don't want to bring into your organization. It's going to tell you a lot of that up front. And it's a free test. It's hexaco.org. Anybody can go take it, but really insightful.
Didn't know about that one. Yeah. I've been looking to find a test to give to every single candidate that we get in Remote Latinos, just to find out, especially when they're applying the sales role.
Another good one thing that it tells you is like their prudence and their diligence. So like, how does this person work? Are they a diligent worker? Are they prudent with how they do things? Are they like organized? Because if you even in sales, you don't want somebody that's careless or neglectful, because that's how they're going to treat your leads. That's how they're going to treat your CRM. They're going to be sloppy. Yeah, it'll tell you all those little things.
Yeah, and do you still hunt? So if they score low on that part, like being a little bit neglectful, but they have all the other traits, would you still hire them?
It depends. I mean, it's you're drafting. It's like drafting a draft pick for the NFL. It's like, hey, if his speed is a little bit down, but he's really strong, then yeah, I mean, like there's exceptions to it, but it tells you all the red flags up front, so you can make your decision.
So that means that you can take this test, Hexaco, and give it to your entire team right now to figure out kind of like where they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you can email it out to your team, say, hey, I need this back by the end of day or whatever. And it's a 15-minute test. It'll tell you a lot about who you're working with.
That's huge, man.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So I feel like we are in a sales and marketing business, but we also are, it seems like we're mostly in a recruiting business, to be honest. If we think about it, that's what we got to do in order to like grow, keep thriving, especially finding talented people. And you found a way to funnel down lots of applicants, lots of candidates. I think that you did like over 1,000 applicants, funneled it down to like 4 individuals that were approved in Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah, and I had a very short time to do it. I did it in less than 48 hours. So yeah, we fired up our ads. We had around 1,000 applicants. My office screened through all of them. They talked to the people, got them scheduled on the calendar for me to interview with them face to face. So I had 24 interviews lined up on my calendar the next day. I did all face to face interviews, 24 of those candidates. Only 9 of them moved on to the next phase. So the biggest thing when you're hiring people is everybody can talk a good game in an interview.
Yeah.
Right. And the personality assessments are great. Here's where you're going to weed out the real players from the talkers is put these people on the phone, especially sales reps. You got to get them on the phone for a mock phone call or call some of your dead leads and see how they actually perform in live action. That's where you're going to really be able to see who has whatever it takes. So our last round interview is always a phone assessment. So we turned all those 1,000 applicants down to 9 phone assessments. And these people talk the best game, these 9 people. They passed all the personality assessments. But out of those 9 people, I only hired 3.
Yeah, that's huge.
After that phone screen.
So did you made them go through a Hexaco?
Yeah, they had to do Hexaco, the DISC assessment, and all of that checked out. Their in-person interviews checked out. My office already talked to these people and screened them, checked through my office. But when we get the people on the phones, that's what really is going to be what you need to see.
That's crazy because you also push yourselves to the limit that you got a mini heart attack, I guess.
I did, yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude, so a round of interviews gave you a heart attack.
I don't think it was all that. I've been, running hard as an entrepreneur my whole life, and I've got an irregular heartbeat. So I'm just getting, I'm 35 now and I still treat myself like I'm 18, running hard, waking up early, staying up late, work, gym, out with friends, drinking too much coffee.
Yeah.
And your body can't take that level of abuse your entire life, especially if you've got like an irregular heartbeat or something like that. So the number one thing is like, as an entrepreneur, you've got to take care of yourself. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how successful your team is. You could have all your marketing dialed in. You could be on a fucking private jet, getting fed grapes by a bunch of Victoria's Secret models. And if you don't feel good, you're sick, you feel like you're not doing okay physically, all you want to do is get better. The money doesn't matter. The nice shit doesn't matter. None of it matters. Health is the most important thing that you have. And so always take care of yourself first, because without that, you got nothing.
Yeah. So in terms of your lifestyle, I've noticed that you basically changed a Ferrari for multiple trips, staying with your dogs and doing different things that you were not doing before. Like you were living a very luxurious, you kind of still are, but in another way, right?
Yeah. Like I don't care about material bullshit. Like this is, I have this kind of stuff, but I don't care about it. Like I had Ferraris, sold them, Teslas. I don't care about watches, jewelry. Like the way that I spend money is on experiences, right? So when I travel first class. When I go on a trip, it's to the max. I'm staying at the nicest places, but I don't care about physical possessions. When you get to a certain point, you realize like the physical possessions are actually a liability. The watch, you got to worry about scratching it and losing it. Same thing with the car. You got nice furniture and all this stuff. It's going to end up, another thing you got to think about and take care of. So as an entrepreneur, it's very important to protect your mental headspace and your mental energy. So the more things that you have to worry about taking care of, you've already got enough responsibility as it is.
Yeah.
Don't add to that. So I live a very nice life, but in terms of actual physical items, I don't care at all, like zero.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know, man.
Yep.
And so for instance, someone that is growing their business and going through a lot of work stress, kind of like what you've been doing, and ultimately avoid any type of health issues. So what are you doing right now that you were doing differently right now? Like what you have to do different now? Because now you have to take care of the heart. You have to take care of probably things that could come out of it. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to start doing?
I mean, it comes down to the basics, right? So making sure you're getting enough sleep. Sleep is one of the biggest things that is not talked about in our industry, how important sleep is. Everybody is, rise and grind. I'm going on 3-4 hours of sleep. You're going to have a fucking heart attack. I don't care how much of a beast you are. Try doing it for 10 years. Like your body is going to push back. Of course, proper nutrition, hydration, all that basic stuff is extremely important, but watch the drinking, watch the partying. Like I don't do drugs. I don't do anything like that. But, even if you're just out having some cocktails with some friends, yeah, and then waking up early the next morning, and the next thing you know, you're chugging a cold brew and you're off to work, that is actually very hard on your body, especially, with your hydration levels. So all that is critical. Make sure you're getting checked regularly too, getting your blood work done. Be the best you can be. Your doctor is going to tell you what you need to do for you specifically as an individual.
Nice. So how do you take care of your team? Like to make sure that they're also good. They all have to perform, especially a bigger sales organization that you have 9 people. How do you take care of them?
Every way possible. So your people are your most valuable asset. So my job as the owner of the company, as the leader, is to lead block for my CEO. My CEO's job is to lead block for my entire team and make their life and their job as easy as possible. So easy as possible is, whatever needs to be done internally in the business, whether it's a sales process or something in a CRM that needs to be fixed, like make their work life as easy as possible. Give them a nice working environment, a fun place that they want to show up, that they're proud to call work. Make it fun. Like we're constantly pouring into the culture. And when I say pouring into the culture, it means multiple things. So that means we do team outings. We take them to different places. We take them to professional, sporting events. We'll go we have a boat club for our employees. So we have unlimited access to boats, jet skis, pontoons, wake boats. So my team can go out and take those anytime they want.
Nice.
So we have a company boat club membership. We've got, in the office, ping pong, different perks. You have coffee, water. We give them lunch, like whatever it takes. You want to pour into these people because these are the ones that are making you the money.
Right.
Yeah.
When you took the intern that right now is the CEO, how do you level him up? How do you ascend him, and what was his path?
Yeah. So this is a very good question. What you need to do if you're looking to level up and start promoting from within, and you want to buy your time back and have your freedom, and live a life like how I've got it set up, is identify somebody within your organization, and then whoever that person that you feel is good, start pouring into them and start giving them more responsibility. Hey man, I'm getting ready to, go on vacation. I need you to watch The Office. See how they do when you get back. Right? They do well. Take a little bit longer vacation. And then do that over this. This is not an overnight process. This is like a 3 or 5 year process to really get somebody to be able to hand over the keys to your office.
Yeah.
So it's not a quick thing. You're going to find somebody in your organization, and you're going to allow them to start taking over different aspects. It might be, hey, now you're overseeing our acquisitions team. Now you're overseeing both sides of the business. Now you're doing payroll. Now you're overseeing and now you get to see how their decision-making ability is through all those different trials and tribulations that come up from taking on that additional responsibility. How do they handle their team? How do they handle difficult problems? Are they trustworthy? You start giving them access to accounts and things like that, and seeing how they perform over the course of months, quarters, years, and that's how that's done. Well,
To go from obviously working with you, under you on Indeed, all the way to being the CEO of the company, that was big. That's been a big journey for him, for sure. So did he start as an executive assistant, or did he start as a salesperson?
He started at the worst job you could possibly have. Now, mind you, he had got hired at Indeed, and he was full-time there. He was making 6 figures a year, 401k benefits. This is when I was starting off my career, though. I just went full-time into real estate. My business was inconsistent at the time, and he asked to come on, and I said, I don't have anything open for you. You can come be a lead manager for $500 a week. Coming from 6 figures, 401k, all that. And he said, let's do it. And he took a huge leap of faith. He believed in me and the vision and the company, literally put himself in credit card debt to come work at the company. And, his first job was taking inbound RVM calls to his cell phone.
Yeah.
So if you don't guys know what that is, it's ringless voicemail. When you send it out, your phone literally melts with just people calling you back. And that was his first job, taking RVM callbacks.
That's crazy.
He ended up, he never complained, never cried. He just did what he had to do. And eventually he went from leads manager to acquisition. As we started hiring more people, he just took that natural seniority and helped me get them trained, and started overseeing that. And then we grew from there.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
Yep.
Obviously you're really good at ads. You run Indeed ads, you run Google ads to find motivated sellers, Indeed to find candidates. So you have a course and you have a program, and you teach them how to do it. And I guess you give them a plug and play. But if someone is listening to this, like what would be the top few things that they need to learn about Google to make it understand? Let's say they want to open up an account, and it's free, by the way, to open up an account. Sometimes Google gives you $500 in credit if you start pouring into. So what are the few top things you got to learn about? You got to know about how to do proper Google ads.
Yeah, well, the game has changed and it's involved. So right now, as we're recording this in November of 2023, search campaigns are not the only campaigns that are out there. So if you have, if you guys are familiar with Google, when you type something in, you have the sponsored jobs up at top, or excuse me, the sponsored listings. Those are what Google ads are. So somebody might type in "sell my house fast," see your ad at the top and click. That's a search campaign. Well, everybody is bidding on the same keywords in our business, right? Everybody's bidding for "we buy houses." Everybody's bidding for "sell house fast." So how do you differentiate yourself in such a crowded part of the market? The cost per click is high. So Google's got other campaign types. YouTube is owned by Google. You can run YouTube advertisements. You can run demand gen campaigns. You can run performance max campaigns. And these allow you to show your ad, not to what people are searching, but show to certain audiences. So you could show your ad to competitors, like people that have visited your competitors' websites. So say you wanted to only target people that have been to OfferPad or We Buy Ugly Houses. You could target like that. Or you could target based on certain life events or demographics. And that is really where where the opportunity is becoming a master at audiences.
Nice. And you covered all of that in your program?
Yeah. So we go super in depth on all that stuff. That's really step one. So, I think people are very mystified by PPC. They think it's so difficult and it's so challenging. Like I could teach it to a fifth grader, and like we've taught it to people that have never opened up a Google ad before in their life, and now their entire business is running on Google ads, and they're making millions of dollars a year.
Yeah. So, what is it? 7-figure cartel?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people think that, hey, it's just the PPC. PPC is one part of it. Like you join, we're gonna have your PPC cranking probably within a few weeks. Like that's one part of it. Now you got the leads coming in. How have we been able to continue to grow? And how have I been able to remove myself from my business? It's all the other little things. How do you build the team? How do you structure things properly? So it's an entire mentorship. Getting you the PPC dialed in, that's one aspect of it. But how do you become a multimillionaire and retire yourself? That's really what it's geared on, is financial freedom and getting you from where you are right now to that multi-7-figure business.
I saw a guy from here in Miami, Omar. He was having some success in your program.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of your students.
Yeah, we've got a ton of success stories.
What did Omar do?
Omar, when he started, he was doing outbound marketing. Kind of struggling, doing deals in just a couple cities. He was living in California at the time. We taught him, our model, and he was able to immediately 4x his business. And then he fulfilled his dream. He moved across the country, living in Miami now. He's got an office in Miami. His team probably does, I think they do $300,000 a month. And it's just from putting the right marketing systems in place. He's one of those guys, super driven, super hard worker, shows up on all the mentorship calls and does whatever we tell him to do.
He's a great guy. Yeah,
absolutely.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Well, man, I think this was a great episode, to be honest. Had to keep it a little bit short because I know you got to go to the airport, do another speaking event. I got to go with my team here. But hey, man, I'd love to have you, whenever you come back to Miami, maybe talk about other different things. Have a second episode. I think a lot of people have to learn what you say about everything is the keys really to success, right? How you build a team, how you recruit the team, how you run ads. Now, from going to outbound, from outbound to inbound, it's going to be a big shift for a lot of people because they're not prepared to maybe spend the money or understand how to work those inbound leads and have a sales process that is solid so that those leads are not wasted. And there's a lot of different things that go through that, but also the fact that you have grown literally a big organization that runs with 9 salespeople, all people promoted from within. Like you promoted a lot of executives from within. I think a lot of people can literally learn about you, and I think they should join something like Seven Figure Cartel, right?
Yeah, I mean, the hindsight's always 20/20. If I had the information that I have right now, I could have got to where it took me a decade to get here.
Yeah,
but it's always like if I knew what I knew right now, I could have done it in probably like 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's really what it comes down to is, if you're listening to this, you're a hard worker, you're driven, you're probably a badass, but get the right information. That's the biggest key to getting what you want as quickly as possible. So,
all right. So guys, if you know that we don't promote this, we don't charge anything for this podcast. So it only takes 60 seconds for you to go ahead, give us a review and share it with someone, whether you're in Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where it's mostly listened into. We're trying to grow it in YouTube. So if you're in YouTube, subscribe to this channel and also share the YouTube video. So thank you for listening to this podcast. How can people find Nick Perry?
Instagram's the best way. Just reach out to me on Instagram. It's Nick Perry, REI on Instagram. We also post on all the other channels too, YouTube, Facebook. So Instagram's probably where I'm most active. So if you need anything, reach out. Happy to help.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. So let's see you in the next episode of the REI Printers Podcast.
Let's go.